Hey guys, it's Yuki. Today I'm going to be going over the best graphic settings for our graders for best visibility and FPS. I've seen a few videos on this topic on YouTube, and I feel like a lot of them sort of just like gloss over the settings, and they're basically all like copy pasted. But yeah, I'm going to be showing you guys what I think are the best settings in this game. And yeah, let's get right into it. So first things first, if you head over to graphics, your windowed mode, definitely just don't change it off of borderless full screen. The game is not designed to run in full screen exclusive anyways, and you can alt tab quicker, so just leave that as it is. And okay, frame generation I will come back to later, but my upscaled resolution, you can see I'm playing on a weird stretched res. I recommend actually just leaving this on native. I have a 1440p monitor, but I do like the stretched look and it gets me a little bit more FPS, so that's the only reason I'm using it. But in everyone else's case, I think just playing on native is the best for visibility. And resolution scaling method, just use whichever one corresponds to your graphics card. I have a 4080 Super, so I'm using DLSS. If you have a 9060 or whatever AMD card, just go ahead and use AMD. And the quality, I know most people just recommend quality or DLAA. But for me, I found that on 1440p, performance looks really, really good. And I don't really notice a difference between performance and quality on 1440p. Because I am closer to 1080p here, I've just left it on balanced, and honestly, I haven't really noticed any difference, even between balance and performance. But yeah, I'm just using balanced as of the time of this video. The DLSS model, you want to be on Transformer. Definitely don't use CNN because CNN is just older. Transformer is newer and just better in every way possible. So just leave that on Transformer. Field of view is personal preference. I think 80, like the max, is the best, but the default of 70 definitely works fine. Just like play around with it. I think 80 for most people would be my recommendation. And motion blur, I don't know why this is setting. Just leave it off. Global illumination. So I've tried dynamic high and I've crashed a few times because of it. So I've just left it on static. And ever since then, I haven't had any crashes. And it's also just like more consistent lighting. And I also get better FPS. So my recommendation is static. But if you are not going to be on static, I recommend dynamic high. So the quality level settings here. So the most basic ones that I see copy pasted is basically just you run high epic view distance, either one, and then you have medium shadows. So reasoning behind that is, well, view distance on high, you can see further away, and then shadows on medium. The original reason I heard was that if you came over to a darker area like this, and there were shadows, if you didn't have them on medium, basically it would make it appear black instead of what it should look like, but I've never had that issue before. And I also haven't had a situation where I think it was beneficial for me to see the enemy player's shadows. Like if they were above me, I really haven't had that happen before. So I just leave shadows on low. And I honestly don't even use view distance on high either. I leave that on low. Now, the only setting that affects any sort of like visual in this game is post-processing, in my opinion. So if you go ahead and look at the signs here, the 10, 20, and 30, I hope it comes across in the video, but if you try it in game yourself, if you turn post-processing from low to medium, you'll be able to tell that there's a sharpening effect added. I think it's easiest to tell on the signs, but you can just see it around the map, like in the foliage here to my right. There's just a very, very obvious and clear sharpening effect. Um, and I think it's definitely worth to have on medium. It doesn't get any better on high, epic, or cinematic, so I definitely just leave it on medium versus low. I have the FPS to spare, so I leave it on medium, and everything else doesn't really matter. I think you can just turn it on to low. Textures, if you have the VRAM, you can definitely turn it up. Like, I could put mine on high, but honestly, it doesn't really look much different to low. Like, the backpack and my player model, even the hair, it doesn't really look much different, so I just choose to leave it on low. The only setting I have changed is post-processing on medium. Okay, now that these settings are out of the way, let me talk about frame gen. So I'm going to turn the metrics overlay to advanced, and I have frame generation off now. You can see I'm getting like 330 FPS, and my frame times are about 3 milliseconds. So that's really low. If you have a 40 series card or 50, you can turn frame gen on to 2x. In my case, I only have 2x, so I would just put it on auto. And when I turn it on auto, I jump up about 100 frames. I'm at 440 now, give or take. And my frame times went up by 1 millisecond, basically. I'm at like 4.5 I think 7 I saw was the maximum, like sub 5 ms frame time. So in my case, using frame generation adds no latency, but I get 100 FPS. This is especially helpful in this game because if you play maps with events on them, because they have better loot, like Cold Snap in particular, the snow really does tank your FPS. And even if you don't play an evented map, sometimes it could be raining, and that can also tank your FPS. So having this extra like buffer of 100 in my case is just really, really helpful. Why did I just miss 3 shots on a stationary bot? So yeah, I've seen a lot of videos just saying just stay away from frame generation. And I wanted to sort of just like let you know that you should just try it for yourself. I have a friend who was also on a 30 series card, and they use AMD's like FSR 3.0 frame gen, and they have like low latency on plus boost. And their frame times are like sub 10 ms. It's like 7 point something last time I asked them and we played together. So yeah, definitely give it a try. You know, this game isn't exactly the easiest to run because it's in third person. So I think just getting all the FPS possible is only going to be beneficial to your gameplay. You know, like unless your like frame times are like upwards of like 15 to 20, I really think frame generation is worth having on for everybody, just because of the overall smoothness it adds to the game. But yeah, that about covers like what I wanted to talk about in this video. I hope this video helped you out. If it does, or if it did, please like and subscribe. And yeah, hopefully I will see you in my next Arc Raiders video that I have coming up soon. Yep, until then, peace.